episode of U-Boat. You join me today as we set out from the port of La Spezia in the north of Italy. Since the previous episode, we have moved ports to come to new hunting grounds in the Mediterranean Sea. I didn't record the video of us going from La Rochelle to La Spezia here because I didn't think it was going to make for a very interesting video on YouTube. I can tell you though, full transparency, that I was killed quite a few times on our voyage coming through Gibraltar there, and I can see why so many U-boats were actually sunk and damaged during this time of the war. Anyway, our orders are to head out towards Egypt and to the port of Alexandria to patrol sectors C06 through CP9, where we need to travel 2,500 kilometers inside the area and sink 10,000 tons worth of enemy shipping. It's quite a large area where we hope to find many ships to sink, and we'll start to make a good name for ourselves in the Mediterranean Sea. Okay, so here we are in the marked area now. We'll get this shot off to the BDU and we'll dive the boat and start getting that hydrophone going so we can hopefully try and pick ourselves up a few convoys in here.
Kapitän.
Okay, so I've managed to pick up propeller sounds here. By the looks of things, they look like they're heading towards the port of Alexandria, so we'll have to try and intercept that. We'll just quickly try and plot their course and catch up. So we're still quite far away from them here. We'll have to mark out their course and we'll try and pick them up. Oh, here we are. We've got ourselves a tanker by the looks of it, and he's just come into our sight here, so just draw our north to south line here quickly. It's going to help us to figure out the angle of bow, and I'm going to put a mark at the front of the ship here, just like that. And I'm going to let him travel forward a little bit, and then I can put another mark at the front of his boat, and I'll pull that line all the way through to that north-south line, and that's going to help us to find our angle of bow. So just go all the way through to that line, grab our protractor here, and because he's heading southeast, we need to make sure we take the right angle here. So there's our angle of bow, and we'll just keep closing in the distance because we're at a horrible angle for firing. We'll pick up the speed here. Okay, we've got eyes on the ship here, so let's see if we can suss out what she is. Looks like the computer's already done that for us for some reason, but we're best to double check. so she looks like an old class. Okay, we've got her identified. Now we need to figure out her speed. So get the crosshair to the front, press go. And then when the back of the ship passes through the crosshair, that's when we press stop. Okay, she's almost there. And stop and set. Okay, so got the speed. And now we need to figure out her distance. So if we put the crosshair to the waterline, that'll make it a lot easier for us. And we go down like that until the tallest mast hits the waterline. I'm just going to double check that because that one on the right looks a little bit taller. No, they're about the same. Okay, set. Okay, that's our solution. She's ready for a torpedo. I think one torpedo might be enough on this one. They normally explode, have a bigger explosion after a torpedo, which might help it to cause a bit more damage. Oh, perfect. No secondary explosion yet though, but that torpedo looks like she's done enough damage. If we need to, we'll come and approach her with the deck gun here and just finish her off. But wow, one torpedo for a big tanker like that, that's good news. Okay, she doesn't look like she's just going to go down all by herself. She might need a shot from the deck gun here. So I think we're going to have to surface the boat and close the distance. She's not worth wasting another torpedo. It'll just be a couple of rounds with the deck gun to send her to the bottom. Okay, we'll get Captain Murray here on the gun. He's just going to finish off this tanker here. Should just be a couple of shots. A couple of good shots in the back. That'll be enough to drop her down. Perfect. 2 easy shots. Okay, so she's gone down to the bottom. We'll just get these messages shot off to the BDU, make sure we get the reward for that, and then we'll jump back on our hydrophone and we'll continue to run around here in our patrol sector roughly, and hopefully we can try and pick ourselves up some more enemy shipping. Okay, found ourselves another small group of ships here, so we're just going to mark their positions as well, same as before, and we will close the distance. They also look like they're heading towards Alexandria, so these could be quite profitable hunting grounds if we just stick to this area. Okay, we're pretty close there. We've got visual detection on these ships, so should probably actually back it up a bit here. They're a little bit further south of where they're supposed to be, according to the map. So we'll just chuck it in reverse, start closing, give ourselves a better angle of shooting. Looks like just 2 freighters. Easy pickings. And we'll just slow it down, back it up a little bit more. We'll start working on the solution here. So same as before, chuck our mark down at the front of the ship there. Zip forward in time a little bit, just to give us a good idea of where they're going. Chuck another mark here at the front of the boat. Pull a line all the way through both points and across that line there. And again, we'll use the protractor. Oh no, I fucked that up a bit. Didn't go all the way through that. The middle of that point might have been 1 or 2 degrees out with that. Okay, grab our protractor. Okay, so she's on an angle of around 99. We'll call it 99. Could be 100. Could be 1 or 2 degrees off, but shouldn't matter too much in the grand scheme of things. Okay, cool. So we've got ourselves one big C3 cargo, and we've got ourselves an Empire something or other. So we'll just quickly work out what that is. Kind of looks to me like an Empire Bell. Recognize that. And we'll get the speed of her. That'll help us out for the next C3 as well. So front of the ship, crosshair, go. And the back of the boat there, stop, set. Okay, so we've got the speed now, and now we just need a distance for her. So get the water line on the crosshair and level it up. There we go, tallest mast down to the water line, set the distance, and got most of the information for this C3 cargo here. Okay, recognize, type in all that, and we just need to find her distance. That's it there, and top of the mast to the water line. Okay, set. Perfect. So I think I'm definitely going to fire at the C3 first. Looks like she's going to get in the way of a torpedo for the that Empire there. And I think maybe if we can sink the C3, we might be able to get away with a torpedo attack on the Empire, but I think we might have to deck gun that one. So she's going to require 2 torpedoes for sure. She's a big boat. Okay, tubes 2 and 3. Fire. Boom. Okay, we got one good hit on the C3. She looks like she's listing hard already to the right there. Did we miss with our second torpedo? Okay. Looks like one torpedo was enough there to sink that C3. So we're going to close the distance in and we're going to deck gun this this Empire Bell or whatever it was. Okay, so we've got Captain Murray up here on the deck gun, and he's gonna hopefully try and inflict a little bit of damage on this Empire. Just gotta aim for the water line. Not too choppy out here, so shooting is quite good. Quite calm for it. Get a few holes in the back of her and then we'll start aiming for the front.
Feuer an Deck! Feuer an Deck!
There we go. That looks like it was enough to put her to the bottom. Okay, so we've managed to pick ourselves up out of another convoy here. Small group. So we'll close the gap and we'll mark out their position and direction of travel, and we'll see if we can close in on them. Okay, we use a bit of time compression here and then we'll just remark the front of their ship and we'll draw that line through to the north-south line. We've got plenty of time to work here. And they've just come into visual contact. We'll stop the ship, mark their position, and we'll draw the line all the way through both points there, right through to that north-south. And we'll use our protractor here to find the angle of bow. Yeah, we got an angle there of 106. Okay, Officer Murray's a bit tired, so we'll get the second officer onto the periscope. And now we can start working out the rest of the solution. So that looks like an Empire Explorer.
Herr Kaloi?
Okay, so now we want to find the speed of the convoy, so front of the ship through the crosshair, press go, start that. And stop, set. So now we've got the speed of the convoy. Let's get his distance to the boat. And the next one. That looks like an Empire. Empire Bell. It's got the mast in the middle, so it's an Empire Tower. For sure, recognise that. Yeah, 100%. And that's a... get its distance here to the water line, set. And we know his speed and his angle. Okay, so we'll fire one torpedo. Oh no, there's two torpedoes loaded here. It must have been loaded from a previous attack. Fire. Switch over back to that other boat. And she should just take one torpedo. Just double check the distance before we fire on that. Okay, tube 3 flood. Tube 3 loaded, fire. Oh, that was close, right on the back, right at the back of the ship there. Good hit though. Just got hits on both boats there. Don't know if it's going to be enough to send them both to the bottom, so we'll just close the gap and we might need to finish them off with the deck gun. I know this one at the back here is already listing hard. So we'll surface the boat and we'll come in for an attack here. That looks like it was enough in the end. So that one's going to sink all by herself. What about the other one? Okay, so both ships been dealt with there. Yeah, we'll continue back towards Malta because our fuel levels are running low. So we'll start heading home and see if we can pick ourselves up any more shipping along the way. Get these sent off to the BDU. We'll make sure that we get the acknowledgement that we deserve for that. Okay, so we managed to pick ourselves up another single boat here. Hopefully it's not a friendly U-boat. We'll just close the gap on that, see what we can find.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen. Kurs setzen. Jawohl, Herr Kaloi.
Okay, so we need a full steam ahead here and got ourselves another enemy freighter. Need to close the gap on this. So what have we got here? That's a big one. We'll put a mark here at the front of the boat. Let her sail through that before we can put another mark again and figure out what her angle is. Got a bit of catching up to do here though. Fair bit behind her. Looks like she's heading towards Malta, but we're going to have to try and stop her from getting there. put another mark at the front of the boat. Right there. We'll pull that line through.
Jawohl.
Point 1, 3.2. Yeah, we'll just drop that there, draw that north to south line. And we'll find the angle using the protractor.
Zu Befehl.
Protractor. Okay, perfect. Still need to close the gap a little bit though. Quite far away. Terrible shooting angle.
Kurs setzen.
Okay, so we're up on the periscope now. We're pretty close to our boat. So we can figure out her speed and her distance now from us. Yeah, we need to recognize her. So she is at Liberty Cargo. Okay, now we'll get our speed here, speedometer. Pass through that, step that. And then the back of the boat goes through the crosshair. We press stop. And there it is, right there, set. So she's going quite fast, but she's on her own. I wouldn't expect anything less. And now we just need to work out the distance. Okay, right about there. Perfect. That's the solution sorted.
Rohr 1 bewässern.
She's going to require 2
Rohr 2
torpedoes. It's a
bewässern.
big boat. Tubes 1 and 2 flooding.
Rohr 1 bewässert. Rohr 2.
Fire.
Los!
Boom. Perfect. Right in the middle. Hopefully we get another one at the front here. Yes. Perfect. That should be enough to send her down all by herself. Yeah, big fires on board. Heavy damage. She should go down all alone. Beautiful. Okay, so quite a successful run through our first voyage in the Mediterranean. Managed to sink a fair few ships, didn't come across any large convoys though, but done enough damage for this one trip, and now we're going to return ourselves back to base. We need to refuel and get some more torpedoes on board, more food, but all in all a pretty good voyage by the crew. Okay, so here we are back at the port now, so we can now report to the leading officer, and we can just get a little bit of a rundown of how our patrol went there. Okay, so we got some medals and some XP. We didn't get any medals this time. Okay, so we sunk. Okay, we only sunk 6 ships. We were away for 32 days. Well, that's unfortunate. Hopefully in the next episode we'll get something a bit more substantial. Anyway, that's the end of this episode, guys, so like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.